Hi, another speaker we will present now, a new speaker for the next convention, the next Parrot convention here in Tenerife. He is David Anthony Garcia. Hi, David, how are you?
I'm good, Rafa. How are you?
Fine. We will know something about you. You have a lot of different experience. When somebody look and make a search about your person, is very interesting because you work with CITES, with reptiles, with birds, with aviculture, terrariums, everything. But
Yes.
tell to our audience, who is David Anthony Garcia?
I'm Cuban-American. My grandparents were born in Cuba. As a result, birds have been part of my life since I was a little kid. My grandfather was a bird breeder, as was my father.
Oh.
I went to law school at Georgetown University Law Center in Washington, D.C. And I was going to be a big corporate lawyer, but I didn't like living in the city, so I moved back to Miami, where I was born, and I became an attorney here, but also a bird breeder. I have a farm here outside of Miami with 200 pairs of parrots.
Nice.
And I work also in what we call the animal advocacy space. So I defend the right to keep animals. And as a result, I started working for USARC, the U.S. Association of Reptile Keepers. But I also work with avicultural groups, with fish groups, with general pet groups. And so I do both things. I'm a bird breeder and a lawyer.
Then you are very good related with animal care and animals under the human care.
Yes. So unlike Europe, in the US, there was very little regulation as to what the welfare standards for birds in the United States. Those rules were written about 3 years ago, and I was involved in writing the rules that govern the welfare standards for birds in the United States.
That is really interesting, and the next convention will be the perfect place to discuss and to speak with many breeders over the world that have the same feeling, that sometimes the rules are not perfect for good breeders and for serious breeders that are doing very well. And for this, you are the correct speaker, I am sure. I must to ask you about your favorite parrot, or what is your goal in your farm right now?
I love aratingas.
Oh.
So sun condors, gendays, goldcaps, duskies. I think a dusky conure, Aratinga wendeli, is one of the best ones as a pet and very underrated.
Really?
I just set up some golden conures, garuba, which I'm excited about.
Wow. It's really interesting because this is the first sentence or the first question that we do in our Congress when we meet with a new breeder or a new person. It's not only about the speech, it's about what do you have at home, what is your favorite bird. That is the topic of the in general of the Congress. That is really interesting. Tell us a little bit, because I don't want to get too many information of your presentation. But how is the feeling right now in USA? Not in general. I speak only in your place where you are about the rights of animals and the situation of the breeders right now in the world. Before in USA, and later explain us. How is your feeling about this subject?
Yeah, it's complicated because the issue is that the general public, so people who are not involved in the animal business and breeding and the hobby, don't have this idea that animal rights is this good thing and that it's always positive. But the reality is that there's a lot of people out there who have a understanding of animal rights that isn't what people who are involved with the animals would agree with. And so there's a push now, for example, in a lot of places in the US to ban the sale of birds as pets, so that you would only be able to get a pet bird through a rescue. And so what we are doing is currently fighting, and those those movements are being pushed by groups that run the rescues. Basically, the rescues want to dominate the market for birds. And so we are fighting that a lot, and people have a hard time understanding that that's not a good system, that there isn't necessarily that need. And the thing is that the rescues often do things like say, if you want a bird, you have to come to the rescue every weekend for 3 months and play with the bird, and then we're going to charge you $10,000 for a bird that costs $100, and that doesn't make sense. And really what they are doing is trying to end bird keeping. And that's the battle we currently have, is making people understand that actually isn't a good system, and that really the breeders do care about their animals, that this isn't just, that we aren't farming chickens. We are raising pets. And so pets, we do care about our animals.
That is really, really interesting, and is the problematic right now in the world with many animals, not only the parrots. But your focus will be very welcome, because many people, many breeders over the world have right now some problems, some issues related to this, and you are the perfect person to speak about, and we want to hear about this subject that is really, really interesting, and we appreciate very much that you can be speaker in the next convention.
My pleasure. I'm very excited.
Okay, David, see you very, very soon, and see you, all of you, that you follow the next Parrot convention. Pay attention, because it's plenty of people, many countries are, the subscriptions are plenty right now, quite plenty, and you need your place. Then, David, see you soon in the next convention in September, here in Tenerife.
Thank you, Rafa. See you in Tenerife.
Bye.